Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from AlexMercedCoder.dev, and what we're talking about today is how to deploy your Express app here in 2022. Just the reason being is that uh, I've done several videos about deploying Express apps in the past, and I've always done them using Heroku. But recently, Heroku made an announcement that it has eliminated its free tier. Okay, so essentially there is really kind of like no more free. So this free hobby tier is about to go away. Okay. And that's been sort of like what lots of people have used to do their hobby projects, especially if you're like a boot camp student or if you are a new developer who's just trying to put together some portfolio projects. That's sort of been your go-to. And then basically you would move up to these tiers when you're building actual like projects that you plan on like making money off of, and performance like kind of really matters. But fortunately, even though our beloved free tier is disappearing on us, which does really make me sad, because a bunch of my projects are about to disappear, and I'm gonna have to worry about like redeploying them. Fortunately, there are other options, and one of the options we're gonna talk about is Render. I'm also gonna talk about Railway, which is actually I haven't used Railway yet, so you're gonna learn with me. So we're gonna figure it out together. Okay. But here at render.com, and render.com has come a long way from the first time that I used it, because before when I first used it, I really could just use it for like static sites, but it has like a lot of different services now. Okay, so here's like a deployment I did with Express, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But bottom line, it's pretty simple. And again, you have a lot of things you can do with render. So you can get like a Postgres database, a Redis database. You can do schedule cron jobs, background workers. And again, just to think what these are. Background workers is just like a process that isn't like a website. Like users don't request it, but it might be able to do things that communicate with like other apps. Like let's say like processing images that you upload, and making sure that they're available for your web applications. Cron jobs are jobs that are going to be code that you run at scheduled times. Postgres database. You can do your static sites just like you can do with like Netlify or Vercel here. And you have a web service, so you can create like Express apps and things like that. So that's what we want to do. And they do have a free tier, which is pretty sweet. Okay, and essentially this is not quite as fast as Heroku was, at least in the deployment piece of it. It is faster if you are in a paid tier. Um, but yeah, you would just choose like the Express app. So I would just choose one of my random Express apps. Okay, so let's just say express.env. Let's just pretend I connect that. Okay, I would connect that repository. I would put in like all the names. So I would say, hey, here's the name of my app. And then I would say, hey, what kind of app is it? So you can also do Python apps, Ruby, Rust, Go, Elixir. And then technically with Docker, you can do anything because you can put anything inside of a Docker container. And then you choose like sort of what region. It's going to automatically kind of choose whatever it thinks it's best. Okay, so I'm just going to keep the Oregon there. Which branch, just all the standard stuff. Build command, that's fine. And then you just choose a free tier, and you would literally just create web service, and it would begin deploying your app. Okay, it'll take a while. It'll run for several minutes once it starts doing that. But once you actually deploy your app, you'll end up having something like this, and you'll see here I can just kind of click on it, deploy, and I can go click on the live site. Let me just see where it is. Connect. Probably is this connect button. Where's the URL? Oh, here's the URL. There we go. You get a URL for it. And basically, it's going to be like Heroku, where basically, if you don't use the site for like half an hour, it gets put to sleep. That's how they're able to provide it to you for free. So generally, like if it's been more than half an hour since you've accessed it, it's going to take a little while to load. So that's why it's taking this like long period to load. But you'll see it'll eventually load because it's basically waking up. And then it'll be on for half an hour, and then half hour from whenever the last request is, it'll shut off. So basically, there are active requests coming in, it'll stay on, but yeah. And again, this can take like a minute, so give it a second. But I mean, again, you can't complain when you're getting the ability to easily deploy backend apps for free. So here you go. That's it. I have this backend app is up and running, and I'm able to hit it up and get JSON data. Okay, so that's the render.com. So render.com seems like sort of like the most natural, like so far like the most reminiscent to using Heroku. Is actually I feel like it's actually easier than using Heroku. And I can go in here and just like other ones, I can go in here and like put in like environmental variables. If my app needs them, uh, I can store like secret files in here, uh, whatnot, and that's pretty neat. So that way I could just upload my .env instead of having to like set all the environmental variables manually. That's pretty neat. And then let's see here, like shell. I guess this is if you want to like actually access the shell of your dyno. Okay, but that's not supported in free plans. This. Okay, yeah, these are all things that you need fancy. There's a log so that we can see all the logs from your application for debugging purposes. That's always super useful. And actually, this looks a lot nicer than the logs back on Heroku. Sharing. Let's see what that is. Okay, this is if you want to like work together. Metrics, scaling, settings, unique web name, region, plan. Okay, and this is all those settings that we set up back in the beginning. Okay, so that's essentially what you get, and that's pretty good. Okay, and again, you can still set up some of those other services like a Postgres database or a Redis database. You can set that all up here. Okay, a really cool service that I saw for setting up a Postgres database was bit.io. That makes it like super easy to create a Postgres database. So this is something, another thing to try. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I found it pretty awesome. Now let's go to Railway and see how that works. So let's log in. Let's see what the pricing looks like. I'm pretty sure there's a free tier. So yeah, see this is starter tier. So you can fiddle with the platform. So it's not like free in a sense where it's like, hey, it's a free tier. It's you basically get like this kind of credit against your account, which generally like long as you're in this trial tier, you're in there. So let's try that. So let's see here if I go log in. GitHub. Okay, again, I haven't actually used Railway yet. So let's see how easy it is for me to deploy an Express app. So let's deploy a GitHub repository. Let's just kind of do that. So I want to deploy from a GitHub repo. Okay, unfortunately GitHub did not meet our criteria and we need additional information. Verify our account. Verify your pre-planned account to deploy to begin, accept the terms and services. I'm assuming I have to like read through all that. Okay. Agree the fair use policy. Nope. Not. Let me see here for education purposes. Verified via GitHub.com. There we go. Go to dashboard. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's try this again. Plus, let's add a new project. Deploy from GitHub. And I can configure GitHub app. Let's do that. My main account. And I want to be able to see all repositories. Okay. Confirm access. I guess it wants me to use mobile. Do I have the GitHub mobile app? I might need to pause to do this. Okay. Okay, I did have the GitHub mobile app. And basically once I click the button, I just go to the app and I'm going to enter in this number. I approve the thing. So I am verified. Okay, so I'm in. Now what does it want me to do next? Go home. Okay, so I guess it wants me to try this again. Deploy from GitHub repo. Okay. So let me just like search for repo. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Now I can see all my repos. I want to deploy from Express, one of my Express apps. Express boilerplate. Let's just do that. Okay, deploy now. I'm not going to add any variables. There shouldn't be any necessary ones for that one. Deploy now. And then that should be it. Okay, so that was pretty easy too so far. We'll see if it worked. Okay, deployments. Your project has no deployments. Oh, there it is. It's building. So let's see how long that takes to build. So I'll pause this while that builds. That was actually really fast. So that's pretty sweet. So let's see here, update, but let's take a look here. Listening on port 5. Okay, that looks good. That's listening. So where is the URL for that? But yeah, that looks good to me. To go look at the logs. I would like to How do I find the URL for this deployment? Build logs, details, deploy, builder, nix packs, restart policy. Yep, that's fine. Deploy logs. That's all fine. So variables, service. Just looking for the URL. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like the URL would be composed humor. If I click here, does that take me to where I want to go to? Let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so I got this project, composed humor. Okay. Deployment restarted for service. Deployment restarted a few seconds ago. It's like I see that it's restarting over and over again, so that kind of makes me concerned. Cache. Where is this thing running? Why does that keep restarting? Oh, okay, I see here. Warning accessing non-existent. Okay, let's deploy a different project instead then. Let's see here. Disconnect. Disconnect the repo. I just want to do something that's like self-contained from Express. Just a real simple to do walkthrough. Just boilerplate. Use let's do Express teaching too, why not? Probably alright. Okay, let me go just take a look at that repository. Yeah, that looks simple. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, there's still Mongo stuff going on. Yeah, it's gonna run into an error when it hits the Mongo stuff, so not that one. Okay, so just give me a moment. I'm just gonna let it go with it. It might just work fine. Okay, but service deployment is deployed. Good. You are connected to Mongo, so it seems to be deployed. Question is, where do we see the URL for this? Account settings, create a team, billing details. Dev. Just don't see a button to click. So here's where you set up variables. More clearly. Show me where the URL is. New settings. Production. I'm going to assume that we would just take that composed humor, maybe .railway.app. Let's try that out. Composed humor.railway.app. Okay, that looks like it might be it. Composed humor. What routes do I have on this thing? Slash, well, there should be a response, so that's not it. Okay, let's just take a look. Railway app URLs. And say hello, needs to know the IP import. Okay. Then obtain a domain automatically. You'll be notified to set one up as soon as we detect the deployment says incorrectly as described above. Simply, yeah, no, I did that. So the easiest way to get up and running is have your application listed on 000 port, where port is a railway provided environmental variable. Ah, so it wants me to explicitly do 000. Okay, which the reason for that is that I'm assuming that they probably containerize it, and this makes it where the container can list the things externally. So like like you have the basic exposal ports. Um, so let's see here. Okay, so let me just see if I see that. Where back to railway. Where do I have railway? Here we go. So let's go to the app and go to the app settings and take a look at general, compose, tokens, integration, webhooks, environment, webhooks, tokens. Now let's also take a look at over here, settings. Where did I see domains? Ah, here we go, generate domain. That's what I was looking for this whole time. And there we go. If I click on this, it should be live soon. Okay. So note to self, you have to click that generate domain on that second step. That was not obvious. But there we go. Now it's working. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, but once you know that, that's not so bad. So again, Railway, and the cool thing is that Railway lets you do other things. So if I want to create like other new projects, I could also provide myself a Postgres SQL database, a Redis database, a MongoDB database, a MySQL DB database, any of these things. So that's pretty cool on things you can do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you all later. There's a couple ways you can deploy an Express app in 2022.